I would love to get some do's and don'ts as my dog is in puberty. First thing to understand about puberty in dogs is, when does that happen? Most dogs, we think at the 5-month stage to about 8 months old, is what we call physical maturity, very often referred to as a fear stage. Hi everybody, I'm Jack Crann from Peace of Mind Canine, behaviorist and trainer in Dahlonega, Georgia. When your dog is in a fear stage, a physical maturity, the body is developing. So it's a very easy age for the dogs to get mixed messages. So the dog is getting its adult teeth, it's learning the different tones of its bark, hearing more, it's smelling more. So what the dog is experiencing is how to use those natural filtering systems, how to focus on what it needs and wants to hear and smell. And it's discovering the different response that will happen from the different tones of bark. So 2 things I would say to be really aware of is marking, meaning male or female. If your dog wants to sprinkle, leave little bits of urine, they want to eliminate in many areas, and we do not allow it. The other is barking. So marking and barking, these are things that really bring to light behavior equals response, because what the dog will understand is, I behave this way, I like the behavior, so I'm sticking with it. Or I like the result I get from that behavior, so I'm sticking with it. If I don't like the result, I have to find a new behavior. So, marking. What happens when you allow your dog to mark is every time your dog leaves a scent, from the dog's perspective, it's like putting their signature there saying, I own this. So now, when you go on a walk, your dog is pulling, it's got its nose down because it wants to leave its mark and own all the territory, own all the property. And the more property it owns, the more it wants to get back there and check that other dogs, other animals haven't covered up their scent, so they can check who's been there and to reclaim it. So marking can encourage aggression, can encourage the dogs to be protective over their property, and it can make it more difficult to get your dog to focus, because what they're really concerned about is leaving their scent, protecting and rescenting their property. So, how am I going to do that? The best thing to do is give your dog a cue word, which you've most likely done in housebreaking. So as a little puppy, we take the dog to the same spot and we give them a cue word. Ideally, what you do is you tell them at the door, whatever your word's going to be. This guy knows, get busy. So before we open the door, we have him sit. He looks, we say, okay, come on, outside, get busy. Then we bring him to the same spot. We stay put, and you teach the dog to empty its bladder so that when they hear that phrase, get busy, they know to go. We just stay still, pass the leash hand to hand. So the importance is, as the dog matures, we just create that habit. So anytime we go on a walk or any activity, we go to their spot and have them get busy, do their business first. Then when we get home, we're going to do that again. Now, if your dog has developed the habit of marking, we're going to go on a walk with the intention of not letting the dog lift its leg. Many times, people will say to me, when does my dog start lifting its leg? And the answer is never. We're not going to let him do that. So this guy wants to mark. I purposely bring him and I wait to see if that leg's going to go up. He starts getting in the position to mark and we just keep him moving. Come on, let's go. So I purposely bring him to the wall, bring him to the tree, the post, the mail, whatever it is. So when they want to lead their scent, we keep them walking. So an important thing we do is we never allow marking on a walk. So now that you're not allowing your dog to mark, what you realize is as the dog matures, by not being allowed to mark, it just keeps them more focused on you, and it keeps the dog in a more happy-go-lucky, puppy-like temperament for their whole life. Barking. What are we going to do about the barking? The best thing in barking is, remember, your dog doesn't know that it's wrong to protect the pack. Your dog is just following its instincts. So at 5.5 months old, 6 months old, the dog seems to be barking more and more. 8 months old, dog is barking at everything because behaviors are learned, and the dog learns by doing. So this is why we teach a greeting command. I like to use make friends, anything positive that will relax people. I say make friends because people think it's cute. So when they see the dog and they hear, oh, make friends, it relaxes people. So tell them to go ahead or say hi, anything friendly. What we want to avoid is what's natural to a lot of us is to say something like, oh, be nice, don't jump, be good. So if your dog is approaching me and you're telling it to be nice or be good, behave, especially if it's somebody that I'm not really familiar, really comfortable with dogs, now my first thought is this is not a nice dog, or this dog doesn't know how to behave. It's not a good dog. Right? Telling your dog to be good, it's not going to be good. So tell the dog, go say hi, go make friends. So someone approaches, the dog starts barking, or someone just appears. So we reward that. Good dog, that's your job. Good dog. Now we have to tell the dog what to do. Come, sit. In other words, job is done. You warned the pack that there was a predator. That's your job. That's why we got a dog. Now you're done. You come, sit, and make friends. Or come, sit, and say hi. So I have a lot of instruction in other videos on how to teach those things. And of course, it is all in my book, The Affection Connection. Look under maturity stages, and you look under how to teach a greeting command. It's all in there. So the point is, now the dog knows what to do. And that is what's very important. At the 8-month stage, we still consider puberty, advanced fear stage, that is mental maturity. That's the age your dog develops its adult personality mentally. My feeling is it is very important to send a crystal clear message and do not reward with food, so that the reward, that the listening is between you and the dog. The reward is your relationship, your bond, your eye contact. Hey, watch me. Here. Yes, good boy. So I get that look, and he gets a touch reward. He gets that nice, ooh, good boy voice reward, because now it's crystal clear. So if you have a dog, we'll say 9 months old, that's naturally protective, Rhodesian Ridgeback, Cane Corso, those type of dogs. So now your dog barked at the neighbor, and like you learned in puppy class, you call the dog to come, and you tell him to sit. The dog comes, sits, and gets a treat, which is great when your dog is 4 months old in puppy class. At 10 months old, it is not a clear message to the dog if that treat is for coming and sitting or for protecting you from the strangers or from the neighbors. So it's not a clear message. So when the dog knows to come and sit, add a boy, add a girl, good dog. Now you make friends, means no barking. Sit and pay attention. Good dog. Now, I love when you do that. I love when you listen like that. So now there's no mixed message. So I hope that will help you understand, again, some of the do's and don'ts as far as having a dog in those very important stages. So we have critical socialization from 8 weeks to about 4.5 months, 8 to 16 weeks, around there, 8 to 18. We have physical maturity, 5 months to about 8 months in most dogs. And then mental maturity, 8 months to a year and a half, around that stage, up to about 2 years old. Most dogs are considered adults at 2 years old. So those first 3 stages are the most important. The work you do there will last forever. I hope that helps. Please keep those questions coming. I love getting your questions. You could always put your questions in the comments or make any comments you like. And all of this and more is in my book, The Affection Connection, on Amazon, either paperback or ebook. And you can contact me right here in the comments or at my website, peaceofmindcanine.com. I hope that helps. Bye for now.